Hey everyone, it's Jason and this is your cruise news update. And we have a passenger saying Celebrity Cruises sold them a bait and switch, and they're warning others about their cruise cabin. Passengers confronted a suite guest as they were upset and wanted their cabin. And Royal Caribbean has once again oversold one of their ships, and they're making a generous offer. Would you accept it? So cruise story number one, and this seems to be a growing theme, and it's upsetting a lot of passengers as Royal Caribbean has once again oversold one of their cruise ships. This time it's the Oasis of the Seas out of Fort Lauderdale that's doing 6 and 8 day cruises to the Southern Caribbean and to the Western Caribbean. It's for this next week on a 6-day cruise that they've overbooked the cruise. Now passengers that are booked in a guaranteed cabin are getting this letter that's stating, if you'll move your cabin from a balcony cabin to an inside cabin, we will fully refund your cruise fare. So basically, a free cruise. Now, none of the extras, like your beverage package or anything like that, you still have to pay for those. Would it be something you'd accept? Now, they did go option number 2, 100% refund, 100% future cruise credit, and anything non-refundable like hotels or airfare, they would reimburse you fully for. That's a pretty generous offer. Now, many people say they can't take advantage of these offers because they can't move their dates. They have kids that are off on summer vacation, they have approved PTO time, but moving from a balcony to an inside cabin, they can. But why do people continue to book guaranteed cabins? And I have to say, the pricing on Royal Caribbean and Celebrity sometimes is significantly less. I was looking at 2 cruises, one on the Odyssey of the Seas and one on the Celebrity Apex. And the guaranteed balconies were over $1,000 cheaper than a assigned cabin. That's significant, especially with everything going up, costs keep going up. That's a great way to save money, and that's why people still continue to do it. And Royal Caribbean does like to offer that out there, and so does Celebrity. Have you ever booked a guaranteed cabin? Would you accept one of these offers? Let me know in the comments. So cruise story number 2, this one's totally bizarre, and I need to know, has this ever happened to you? So a passenger was super excited as they were booked on the Adventure of the Seas, and they were booked in the Royal Suite. It's obviously the top suite on the Adventure of the Seas. So they're super excited, they're going to their cabin, and there was 2 passengers hanging out really close to their cabin door. I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. And so they were going to get in their cabin, and the passengers that were standing by their door said, "Are you booked in this suite this week?" I'm like, yeah, we are. First of all, I would never have answered that. I'd say, mind your own business, but they said they tried to be nice, and they said they were upset about it. I said, oh man, we were hoping you wouldn't show up. They're like, oh, okay. Because we had this cabin last week and we loved it so much, we want it again. They're like, well, we booked this, we're here, basically move on. And they just wouldn't do that. So the cabin attendant saw this, and he got one of the senior officers involved, basically moving them on. Now, I thought there's no way someone would do this, right? Surely not. When they posted this experience, other people started to chime in, saying they had suites. One person said they were in one of the iconic suites on a Celebrity Edge class ship. And they said someone knocked at their door almost every single day, at least twice a day, wanting a tour of the cabin. They said they had to get their butler involved. So look, this is ridiculous. Someone is like early in the morning, late at night, during the day. I'm like, surely this isn't happening. Now, I have not had a lot of suites. Just because we cruised often, I'm a balcony guy. I wish I could do more suites. It just doesn't work out that way. So I've never experienced this. And more people were chiming in, saying this absolutely has happened. One of the crazy other stories was a passenger said they were booked on one of the nicer suites in Royal Caribbean. And they said their cabin attendant was cleaning it. and they were walking back from breakfast, and there was 2 other passengers, and they said, we know who's in this suite, and they gave us authorization to come tour the cabin. And he's like, I can't let you in this cabin. And they're like, but the person that's in the cabin okayed it. He goes, well, you're going to have to get them and bring them in. And the passengers that had the cabin are overhearing all this. And they're like, you know them, huh? And they're like, absolutely, we know them. They're like, well, we don't know you, and this is our cabin. And he said they moved on up. They walked away. Folks, this is not okay. If you want a tour of a cabin, 1, that's what YouTube's for. 2, you could become a travel agent, and a lot of times, as you grow your business as a travel agent, you get tours of cabins, especially of new ships. But you can't knock on people's door or be upset because they showed up and you had the cabin the week before. What do you guys think about this? And has this ever happened to you if you've had a suite on a cruise? Let me know in the comments. So before I get to cruise story number 3, I would ask that you please like this video and consider subscribing, as it does help the channel grow. If you could do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. So cruise story number 3, and this one's a little frustrating, as this passenger is accusing Celebrity Cruises of a bait and switch. So keep in mind, this passenger is a brand new cruiser, first cruise, and they decided they wanted to go to the Norwegian fjords. If you're like me, I want to go there also, so I completely understand this. They said they booked an infinite veranda cabin, and it was well over $5,000, which that is the going rate on the Celebrity Apex. You can't touch usually a balcony cabin for under $5,000 right now. So they're super excited. First cruise, they get to their cabin, and this is their view right here. I'm like, what is going on? They look at their invoice. Remember, they booked directly with Celebrity Cruises. They looked at their invoice, and it said 0 obstruction. 0%. Now, I went and did a mock booking on cabin 6243, because that's the cabin, and it absolutely says 0% obstruction. That's not good, because the cabin is actually classified as an E3 cabin, and an E3 cabin is an infinite veranda partial view. Well, if you're brand new to cruising, what's a partial view? You don't really know what that means. It says 0 obstruction. You don't know what questions to ask. So, being upset, obviously they took these pictures, went down to guest services. And guest services says, oh, that's not an obstructed view. What? Your own company says it's an obstructed view. They must get this a lot. They have to. For them, it basically said they were like steadfast on it. Talk to a supervisor? Yeah, they're showing them pictures. No, that's an unobstructed view. Come on. They said it just ruined their experience. I said they had to get over it. They said they wanted to enjoy the cruise. And they said they went back and forth for over a day. And they said, we're just going to drop it and we'll enjoy it as much as we can. They came back, obviously, from their cruise, and they posted these pictures. Many people were like, do not get off the ship. Keep escalating this. And they're like, sorry, we already are off the ship. We just want to warn others, because it does say 0% obstruction. But the big thing is brand new cruiser. What would they know? They don't know you need to go to cruisedeckplans.com. They don't know you need to go to YouTube and look for your cabin. They don't know a lot of these things. I have to say, this one feels really like a bait and switch. It feels scammy to me. And that's disappointing, because I love Celebrity Cruises. I think they're a great cruise line. But this instance, they didn't do this passenger right. What do you guys think? So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you again for the continued support. And until I talk to you soon, happy cruising.